This family-owned Greek bakery has been in New York for over 100 years, and now they're telling us their story. I'm Red Young, and this is Hell's Kitchen.
Well, my name's Paul Fable. I'm the fourth generation of the Poseidon Bakery. It's a family business here in Hell's Kitchen. My great-grandfather started it, and I'm keeping the tradition going. My mom's still with me. She came into the business 1960 when she married my dad, and he's the third generation, and we're continuing it. We're in our 101st year. And we still do everything the same way with the same recipes. Everything is made by hand. Even the phyllo, we still make by hand in the factory and pull it over tables. So we're keeping the tradition alive. When it was my time and father was asking me, would you like to make this career? I was go for it. It's something I did all my life. I enjoyed doing it and making things that people appreciate and you can make a living doing and being part of the community for all these years I had neglected. It's a very special thing. Well, it is a community. It is a neighborhood. It has families. It's always been. We've always looked out for each other. We've always taken care of each other. You know, you're going to get a lot of support. I mean, obviously the neighborhood just can't support you only, but it's certainly a great help when you see your regulars that come in and they're here and having those relationships. We always were there for each other and watched out for each other. And that's, some neighborhoods don't have that. They're very much, they come, they go to work, they don't know the stores around them, they don't know their neighbors. This is a community that's not like that at all. And it is a special thing. And we still have some mama papa stores, but you know, we're starting to lose them because the rents have gotten up. The neighborhood got better in the early 90s and on. We went through a nice renaissance. But once the rents start going up, these little mama papa places, they can't afford the new leases. And that's the one tough thing, is because that's what makes these neighborhoods and makes these communities. And you get the people who come in with their families and they want to start something from their backgrounds. And we're talking more the food business per se, like this has always been a food avenue. So this is what we do. You're not going to see a lot of clothing stores or shoe stores, or you're not going to see that, or art stores. There's some art stores, but more of a food establishment, and now we're losing that variety because it's very hard for a little mama papa business to come in with a small space of say 500 square feet, 1,000 square feet, and be able to make enough to survive with a little left over. So we are losing that, but having a tight community certainly helps a lot. I guess it was my grandparents and their grandparents made that hard decision to buy when they didn't have the money, but they said, we're going to work for it. We're going to work through the years and keep putting a little money down. And that really solidified our existence. So like through this pandemic and things of that nature where other people, you know, I can understand it's what they're going through and they didn't have that to keep going. And we were able to get through some of those tough times, but with their hard work and blood and sweat and to make those sacrifices for the later generations, we're able to do what we're doing here at these crises as well, where other businesses, they can't. And that really sets us apart from some of these other businesses because we own the building and we can really do what we want to do as long as we want to do it. A lot of people know the Poseidon because we live here, born and raised our kids here. There really is a tradition, and also there's a foundation there where when you come into a store that has been here for all those years and you have these relationships, it's different than going into a Target, and not anything against Target, but just like a big commercial store where you don't have those relationships. I still go to my fishmonger, my bread store. I go to my butcher, and we can talk, have a conversation. He could cut me some meats that I have that I like, a scallopine, where you maybe go to a supermarket, they're not going to have those things. And I can go to my fishmonger and say, can you clean this fish and just scale it and, debone it for me? You're not getting that when you go into a supermarket. So that's one of the beauties. But I think when people come in here and they see my mom and they see me and it's the same family with the same recipes, and they can come here 10 years later and buy that spinach pie or that baklava and be like, yes, that's what I remember. That's exactly how it tasted. And we haven't changed any of that. And that's part of it. And it's made with love and care. It's the same effort that we've always put into. We're not just throwing some ingredients together, we're seasoning it, we're making sure it's consistent, and we're using the best ingredients, and everything is made by hand. There's no machines in our store. Literally, we mix in bowls, we make our things by hand, and it's a real niche, and I think people appreciate that, because these days, you know, you go to some stores and a donut, a croissant, a loaf of bread, it just doesn't compare when someone has a homemade strudel or a piece of baklava or spinach pie where we're sauteing all these leeks, onion, dill, scallions, seasoning them, making it with our handmade phyllo. It's just, people realize that and they appreciate that. You have, I brought up with the fishmonger, you have Seabreeze, you have the International, you have Esposito's Butcher, also Piccinini, a couple stores down from us in 633. These are businesses that have been around 80, 100 years, we're 101 years, 70 years, but they are there, and it's when they want to leave on their terms. Some are getting tired, some are getting ready. Like, I don't know if our 5th generation might want to continue to do this. They have helped out through the years, but this might not be their career choice. I still have a good 10, 12 years, but we'll see. But we fortunately can make those decisions and not have all these other things kind of pushing us maybe out and influencing us to say, no, we can't do this anymore. Well, the cost of doing business now has really changed a lot. And also now after this pandemic, with the less amount of workers coming in, that has really affected business, because you're used to having people coming in for breakfast, lunch, maybe a little after dinner, saying we're now, maybe 50% of the people aren't coming in, so it's a little tough on the hospitality business. And just in general, there's always going to be certain costs and variables that are always there, but now with inflation, with the cost of things, you have to change prices. You might have to take certain items off. It's not easy. It's not easy, but it's an ever-changing thing, and obviously certain things aren't going to change, like rent and expenses. They're just going to go up. So it's not always going to be something that everyone's going to be able to do for a long period of time. And family business, usually after the 2nd generation, you're not really seeing them continue. They maybe have a few more choices and they want to do something else in their life, and they don't want to do the family thing. So that combination, it's not easy. But business in the city these days, it's difficult, very difficult.